I had a process server waiting across the street when she pulled up in the driveway. He handed her the divorce papers. They include a notice from my attorney that I intend to file for sole custody and that she would have visitation rights. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to do an update to a story I did a few days ago, titled, Man Blindsides Cheating Wife with Eviction and Being Cut Off from the Finances After She Goes Too Far. And a big shout out to Chris for letting me know there was an update. And guys, as a quick recap, that's about the guy. He's married to his wife for a little while now. I'm guessing he's in his mid-30s. A long story short, he found out that she was cheating. She had taken the daughter away on to see family. He was a firefighter and he was working the shifts, couldn't get away. And lo and behold, he got a phone call that his daughter was in the hospital. And she'd broken her wrist ice skating and couldn't get the work done she needed because the wife wasn't around to help with the insurance information. He's like, what the hell? And finds out his wife was in some hotel with some dude she's been hooking up with for a very long time. One thing leads to another, and he finds out what's going on. Proof of all this has been going on for a while. And he prepares to unleash hell on her in terms of kicking her to the curb. Literally booked a hotel for her when she got back home for her to go, talk to his lawyer, had the sheriff there waiting for her, and the daughter's pissed off at her, and all that, and getting things ready to go. He handled it like a boss. No crying like a baby, no trying to work it out, none of that stuff. That was a great one to go over here, and it ended with him saying pretty much, I don't plan on doing any more updates. Well, as these things usually go, we have an update on how things go, and again, our man here is handling it like a boss. And that'd be a very good one to go over here. And again, guys, the lesson of the story is, sadly, these things happen. But you gotta always pay attention to red flags. You can't just think that you're gonna be such a good husband and work extra hard to pay off the mortgage and give her the great life that she'll love you anyway. It doesn't work that way. This guy was a good guy, look how he's treated. But a situation like this happens, you gotta kick him to the curb. There's no reconciliation, not going to marriage counseling. She's been an a-hole. She knows she's being an a-hole, and she deserves to be kicked to the curb. Even if you take a hit, guys, you take a hit and you move on. Life's too short. And if he would stay with her, she'd treat him worse. So, let's see how things progress. It says here, this will be the final update on this sad situation. I've heard that before. First off, thanks to everyone who weighed in. It's amazing the number of fellow firefighters and LEOs I've heard from who are in similar situations. I took a few days of personal time away from the job in order to deal with all this mess. The soon-to-be ex and our daughter returned home late Sunday, and my daughter immediately fled to her room and closed the door. The daughter wants to get the hell away from her mother. My wife says something along the lines of, I guess she must be pretty mad at me. And I told her the truth. Pretty mad? You've been cheating on me all these years with some guy every time you go away and leave our daughter with your dumbass friend who's known you've been cheating all along? Yeah, I'm a little upset, honey. Then I was numb. The anger would come later, and it would be best if she was somewhere else for a while. My friend, the deputy sheriff, was there and said he would sit on the deck and be there if I needed him. That certainly pays off that he's friends with the local sheriff. Make sure he's there so that she can't say that this guy did some things that could get him in trouble. I told the wife that I was recording this conversation to protect me and my rights as a husband and father, and she said fine. This guy's sharp. I suspected at this point that she really seemed to think that she was going to talk her way out of it. What I didn't tell her was that I spent most of the last week talking with my friends, my parents, my battalion chief at work, as well as a lawyer and a therapist. I've gotten a ton of leave and I support a bunch of coworkers, and if I need to take months off to deal with this, I can. That is awesome. That is so great. This guy has a lot of support and people on his side. And she obviously underestimated him. This sadly goes to show you guys, when women have a certain perception of you, good or bad, positive or negative, whatever you want to label it, it's very hard to shake that. But this guy can use her perception of him that he's obviously weak to his advantage. I just said that it was disappointing. I was disappointed in her, but mostly I was angry that our daughter got caught in the crossfire of her bad behavior, that she had put our child at risk to get laid. She didn't admit or deny, but then her tone changed, and she almost immediately started in on saying things like, Remember the time that we did this? Trying to get me to remember good times. After about three of those mentions, I told her the truth. I couldn't trust her my memories because I had no idea what she might have been doing during then. Yeah. How long has she been cheating? I mean, he had an idea with this dude here, but it's very unlikely that this was her first rodeo of cheating. Cheaters tend to have a long history of this shit. She could have been doing it on their wedding night, for all you know. I've done stories like that. And so now he's looking at his whole marriage and time with her in a completely different way. When that didn't work, she went into the whole, I was lonely because you're working so much crap. I reminded her that we made a deal about how to pursue a future where we could retire early. He was working all the time to make their lives easier, to make her life easier, a better thing for their kid. I'm sure you guys have noticed patterns to all these things. You watch enough of these videos, it's always the same goddamn story. In terms of, you're working so much, you weren't paying attention to me. And I was doing it for you guys. And that's what you wanted. I got so mad at this point that I pointed out to her that if she had behaved, we could have retired when she was 48 years old or so. But that I wanted her to remember that promise because now she's going to have to work for herself. I'm not usually a vindictive person, but I like the idea of having her work until she's 70 years old and being angry every time she gets dressed to go to the job that she hates. He has every right to be a little vindictive. Shit, I'd be. But the truth is that she's in her early 30s and she's above average looks. The odds are she'll just find some sucker, right? She'll find some sucker to shack up with, and that's probably what's going to happen if she still has her looks. As a side note, one of my work buddies who's also married, and he says he and his family have vacation with us a couple times too, made this observation. Every time we gone somewhere, there has been a day or two where the wife had contrived an excuse to be apart from the family. So I played a hunch and said something like this. Wasn't the first time. This was just the first time that you got caught. Guarantee you, based on her behavior and how well she's been hiding all this and everything, not her first rodeo. And she just hung her head and very quietly said, yes. So I had the admission on tape. She went to the hotel without objection. She wrote me a long email saying that, I'm sorry, and I'm not sure why I did what I did. I did not reply. Not sure you did what you did? It's like when a little kid gets out of line, and a parent yells at him and says, what were you thinking? Or why'd you do that? And the little kid's like, I don't know. Well, that works when you're 6 years old. It does not work when you are in your 30s and a mother and all that. I don't know why I did it wrong. I don't know why I did it. Bullshit. You knew exactly what you were doing. You're just sorry you got caught. But before she even got home, I'd spoken with her mother and told her about the fact that she was at a hotel with another man while her daughter was in the emergency room, and also about the credit card that she had opened. Oh yeah, if you all recall, guys, she'd opened credit card or credit cards without him knowing about it in his name, and was using it to pay for the hotels and restaurants and stuff that she was seeing this guy. Very, very slick and illegal, I might add. Her mother did not say much, but I told her that if I had any inkling that she was aiding and abetting the wife's bad behavior, that I would severely limit her access to her granddaughter. There you go. Play hardball with grandma. That was probably a mistake on my part, but I was just so fucking angry. Who cares? The mother-in-law swears that she knew nothing and that she was worried sick that something had happened to my wife when no one could reach her. Well, maybe she didn't know, but now she knows not to cross this guy. I also told my mother-in-law that I was not going to allow the wife back in the house if I could do so, and that I expected her to understand that I've never yelled or hit or cheated on or done anything else other than the things I promised to do when we got engaged. That seemed to resonate with her. My wife's parents split up when she was in high school because her dad was a serial cheater, so maybe that registered with her mom. How about that? His wife's dad was a serial cheater. Imagine that. Looks like the wife obviously doesn't know anything else, and she's following her dad's footsteps. I sent a text to a friend who took my daughter to the emergency room. I told her I didn't particularly care if she replied. I said I appreciated her being at the ER with my daughter, but I also said that she had previous knowledge of where my wife was going, that she should know that she had a huge part in destroying my family, and that a true friend would never encourage shitty behavior. Well, clearly her friend either has an issue with him The guy telling the story, an issue with them being married, so she wants to sabotage it, or her friend herself is a single gal who wants company. She wants a wing girl, if you will. But yes, this friend who was well aware of what was going on. That's why I tell you, watch out who your girl hangs out with. I haven't figured out how to get in touch with her husband yet, but I suspect, based on just sort of reading between the lines, that she and my wife were kind of egging each other on. I guarantee her friend's a cheater, too. On Thursday morning, I got a text from my wife saying that her mother had rented her a furnished apartment pretty close to our house, and she would like to come over and get some of her personal things on Friday when I went to work, and I said that was fine. Now, watch what's coming up, guys. Watch him handle the situation like a boss. I should point out that during all this, she only texted our daughter one time, and even in her communications with me, she never asked about her. When she told me she got the apartment, she didn't ask if our daughter would come visit. Right there. Her actions, again, are showing that the daughter doesn't mean a whole lot to her. She was all her lover. That meant the world to her. And right here, she can care less about the daughter, because believe me, she'd be talking about the daughter. Be like, okay, we're getting divorced, or this is not working. Let's work things out with our daughter. Nope, not a peep about the daughter. I told her that I wasn't working on Friday, but that I would be out of the house for a couple hours so she could get some things. I left, but I had a process server waiting across the street, and when she pulled in the driveway, he handed her the divorce papers. She's going to lose it. They include a notice from my attorney that I intend to file for sole custody, and that she would have visitation rights. And out of nowhere, guys, you can hear the pouring rain, so I'm going to have to talk really loud here. She called my voicemail and said she was almost incoherent with rage. I never heard her so angry, or frankly, sounding so unbalanced. Yeah, I bet she was losing her freaking mind here. She didn't see that coming. And it's great how quickly he had this done. Also, my lawyer had a very good suggestion that I will pass along for anybody else in this position. I got a new cell phone. I don't carry the phone that I had the number the wife knows. I've only given a few people the phone number. My lawyer, my sister, my daughter, my boss, a couple of good friends from work. I take a look at the old phone once a day and see if there's anything I need to deal with. Hopefully the daughter doesn't give the mom the number, but the daughter obviously doesn't want to be around her. I know there's a lot of other advice out there that I could give, I did not touch on, but there's no need for a paternity test because my daughter looks exactly like me. I will get an STD panel, but I don't think that's an issue either. My lawyer did get notified that the wife has hired a lawyer, but I made it clear that I'm going to stay in the house and the daughter is going to stay with me too. I may have to write her a very large check thanks to the issues of family law, but at this point I really don't give a damn. I'll probably add this zero to the check if it can get rid of her in 6 months earlier. So there you go, guys. This guy, right to the point, handles it like a boss. And I like at the end, he said literally he would pay more money just to get rid of her and move past this. Because as a man, you can move past these things, okay? You go through hell, but instead of letting it just crush you, you got to find a way to move on. Because a guy can. A guy can get a divorce and get hit by the family courts as they usually do, move into like a freaking studio apartment, and slowly but surely build up reserves again, live cheap, find a way. But it is far better than being married to some asshole like this that would do these types of things. So good for him, but it sounds like he's going to make out well based on all the stuff. So I wish this guy the best. I don't know if we're going to have updates from him. I hope to have an update to hear that, he got divorced and he got sole custody and everything's going well, because he deserves this. I mean, all guys that are good husbands deserve, I want to say a happy ending, but certainly not a horrible ending. And also, hell, if it's a gal who's good to her husband, and her husband was a serial cheater and awful to her, she deserves that too. Now, I'm going to read some comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says here, well done, bro. Best of luck with the divorce outcomes. She's trash and will be trash, but not your trash. It's going to be awesome when the affair fall completely dissipates. Well, I guarantee you that her lover is going to be done with her when all this is done. She's not going to go running to him. He's going to be like, oh, no. Another guy says here, did your piece of crap soon-to-be ex-wife really think that you would fold and want reconciliation? There was absolutely nothing to reconcile. She knew full well what she was doing and had zero intentions of stopping. She wasn't even sorry. The fact that she put other men's you-know-whats ahead of the well-being of your daughter is the worst part of all this. Yeah, exactly. Now the guy says here, he also says, I commend you for your bravery and resolution and all this. I also commend you for not being one of these spineless wimps that is like, well, my wife said she's sorry, so we're going to give it another try. I wouldn't have done this video if he did that. You will come out of this as the winner, and your ex-wife will die alone and miserable someday without a friend in the world. Because people like her are incapable of loving anyone except themselves. And her affair partners, they're gone. Gone like a fart in the wind. Now that she's no longer taboo, there's nothing fun in it anymore. Well, like I said, if she is above average looks, she'll sadly find some sucker. But it will be not as easy as it was when she was obviously younger, thinner, prettier. You get the point. Now the guy says here, I'm glad to hear you're moving forward on all the formalities. But more than that, I hope that when you get some time to process everything on a personal level, that you'll have some good friends who'll be there for you. Don't hesitate to reach out to them or to the available yourself of professional resources. If you start to get depressed, good luck to you. Yeah, that's the thing. So this is all brand new to him, and I guarantee he's like on full adrenaline mode. But eventually when things calm down, I think that's when the reality is really going to set in about, oh my God, I wasted all this time with her, or all those times I thought things were good, and she could have been doing this, this, and this. And as any human would, he could probably really get bummed for a while, want to resort to drinking or eating garbage or who knows what. Situation like this, a guy definitely needs to keep his loved ones, either his family or friends that truly have his back for support, because you can't be strong forever. It's very difficult. Unless you're a robot. But this guy will get through this, and I hope he gets sole custody. That'd be wonderful. And his daughter's going to need some help too, because believe me, his daughter's 13 years old. So already it's hard enough to be a teenager anyway, but with all this bullshit going on, and so he's really going to have to keep an eye on her as well. She might need some therapy, but I mean, that seems to be the thing nowadays with everybody. But the point is, he has to watch out for her too. And take it one day at a time. So I wish this guy well. And guys, if I see any more updates, I'll definitely let you know. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you find a good story like this, share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.